Hello, 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 hello. Whoops, let's see here. It is 7:30, which means jeez, Louise. Okay, here we go. Today has been a pretty surreal kind of day anyway, so pardon all the weird stuff. Oh, sweetheart.
Yeah.
Could you feed Missy?
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm getting stared at from a little lap leopard because she hasn't had her dinner yet. So, okay. Here we are, and we're starting. Hi, everybody. I'm Patrick. Welcome, and thank you for watching. It is time for Monday mini medicine card readings. So, I actually just got home, so I've been a little bit of a rush, but I am hopefully getting it together now. Get my cards out. So, if you have not been here before, what we are doing is, with this lovely, beautiful deck of cards called the medicine cards, with this lovely lightning bolt in the back, fit for a cartoonist. These have different totem animals on it, and so we are going to consult the animal spirit guides, the power animals, give you a little extra guidance for this coming week. And what we do is, after I smudge my cards, let's get a fun little smudge, I will pull 3 cards, and let's get a little more smudgy. Come on, smudge, smudge, smudge. We like to smudge. Come on, smudge. Woo! All right, so what I do is I pull 3 cards, and what you do is choose a number between 1 and 3, or choose 2 numbers, or all 3 if you really want. So, and then I go through them one at a time and do a little mini reading with each card, and whichever card corresponds with the number you chose, that's your guidance for this week. So, I've been doing this for a while now, so I'm hoping you didn't think by now I'd have it down, right? So, I've been doing this since about a year now, I think, because I was laid off from my day job about a year ago-ish. And I started doing these. I actually started doing them at like 3 in the afternoon on Monday, every Monday. And then I got a gig doing the readings every other Monday at a nearby store, metaphysical store in Tacoma. And so I had to move the whole thing to the evening. Anyway, so I've been doing this pretty much throughout the pandemic as a way to give people an extra little boost of guidance through these weird, perilous times we live in. So, okay, one more time. And if you haven't dealt with the medicine cards before, it's similar to getting a tarot reading, except that we are using the animal spirit guides, the spirits of the animals, instead of the archetypes and the arcana and all that stuff, because as a shaman, I am more connected to, excuse me, the animal spirits, and the cards become just kind of a launch pad. The animal that comes up, I mean, each animal, the medicine of each animal is complex and multifaceted, and there are tons of things to say about them. And so I have to kind of intuitively kind of just listen to whichever ones are kind of tapping me on the shoulder for the pertinent reading, the pertinent person. And I keep learning new things. It's like, it's amazing. Almost every time I do a reading, I'm starting to learn all these little nuances of the different animals and what their medicine is about. And they're telling me things that, like, I never even thought about that. So it's kind of cool. All right. We are thoroughly shuffled. So choose a number, 1, 2, or 3, or a couple of numbers. Ooh. Yay. All right. So choose your numbers, and it's funny, I mean, there's cards in here that have never come up. I've been doing this once a week for a year, and there are certain cards that have never come up in that time. And there's other ones that come up repeatedly. These ones actually aren't ones that come up a great deal. But anyway, so I'm just stalling to give you a chance to decide what number. Okay, number 1. 1. If 1 is your number, your card is squirrel. So, squirrel has been coming up a lot lately. Like, I think almost every reading I've done lately, squirrel has played a part in it. And what squirrel is about is resourcefulness, number 1. Squirrel is abundant. Squirrel lives in abundance. And it's not because he's got the hoard of acorns and nuts stored up. It's because he lives in the moment. He's constantly finding acorns and nuts and like, oh my God, an acorn, chomp, eat, dig, 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 berry, berry, berry. He's like just in the moment, and every nut he finds is a treasure, and it's with he finds it with gratitude and excitement, and he buries it because that's what squirrels do, because that's what brings joy to his heart. He's not storing it away, hoarding it away, so that he's doesn't have to worry about the future, so that he's got stuff saved up, so that, a lot of times we think about squirrels as saving things up for the winter time, like thinking about the future, thinking about storing things up so that you're safe in the future, and that is not where squirrel is. Squirrel is about play. Squirrel, think about what it means to be squirrely, right? All over the place, ADHD or whatever, ADD. Look at there, look at there, look at there. It's like this wide attention to different things and all the things that make you excited in the moment. And so squirrel, because of that, he's burying all these nuts and these acorns, but he's not hoarding them. He's not like stuffing them into a tree someplace like a safe, or, got them in the bank. He's got them, they're spread all over the place. And so his resources come from all over the places. His resources are wide, widespread and diverse. And it's all because he's just enjoying himself in the moment, right? And so come wintertime, he gets hungry. He's like, oh yeah, there was that really big acorn that I buried over here. He digs it up and he eats it. And he's taken care of. He's getting the flow of abundance because he was living in the moment back then when he buried the nut. And then all of a sudden he's hungry and he remembers, oh yeah, I buried that over there. So Squirrel, the resourcefulness of Squirrel is to remind you that everything you've done in your life has sown seeds. Everything you do puts out seeds and plants seeds. And sometimes you might hear me talk about kind of my mission statement, if you will, is a phrase that I learned, and it's about walking in beauty. May you walk in beauty. And the idea behind that phrase is that everything you do sows seeds of either beauty or ugliness, creation or destruction. But it's like realizing your place in the moment, in the wider matrix of the world, and that everything you do ripples outward and has a consequence. And so let's walk in beauty, you know, even if you believe that the world is hostile and against you and it's filled with ugliness and greed, etc., etc. Even if that were true, and it is not true, but if it were, even if it were, why would you want to add to the ugliness? When you walk in beauty, when you sow seeds of beauty, seeds of love, seeds of light, you're adding more love to the world than was there before. You can either add to the beauty of the world, or you can continue the ugliness of the world. And we don't even think about it, but every word out of our mouth, every thought we think, every action we take, sows seeds of beauty or ugliness, right? So let's fill the world with love, fill the world with light. No matter what you think of the world, no matter where you believe, you know, good versus evil or whatever else you want to contemplate, to me, it brings back that same quote that I skewer every time I try to say it. But when Einstein was talking about the greatest decision you'll ever make is whether you live in a hostile universe or a friendly universe, because you can't live in both. It's one or the other. And Wayne Dyer said something about those who live from love live in a loving world. Those who live from fear live in a fearful world. Same world. So it's how you look at the world, your perceptions of the world, that changes the world that you find around you, right? When you look for the love, the universe steps in to show you love. When you're looking for those nuts and those acorns and those special surprises and gifts and treasures the universe wants to bestow upon you, you're going to find them everywhere. And as you take them, rather than hoarding them, you give them back to the world. Like squirrel buries them, puts them back to the earth. And if he remembers where they are when he's hungry, he goes and retrieves them and eats them, and it sustains him. And he also, because he buries so many nuts, he can't remember where they all are. So he is, in effect, planting forests of trees. He is helping the growth of the forest because he receives the gift and he gives it back to the earth, right? And in that way, he plants trees. So he forgets about that acorn. That acorn grows into a mighty oak tree that drops tons of acorns that feed his future generations, right? So it's about being in the flow, being in the moment, and doing the things that feel joyful to you. It's about play. It's about what feels good. That is walking in beauty. So plant those seeds of beauty, those seeds of love. because we think that we have, oh, it's just little old me, and I don't have a big deal, to do with how the world works. But if you're changing yourself to see the good in the world, when you're putting out good acorns, planting seeds, acorns out in the world, you are planting seeds that grow into mighty trees, which then shower the rest of the world with more acorns of love. And it's that cycle. It's the circle of life. The circle of life. And so everything you do changes the entire world, changes the entire universe. It's like, as you start to look for the love, as you start to act from your heart, from love, the world around you changes. The universe then starts to reflect that love that you have within you, as within, so without. And so as you're putting more love out into the universe, you're finding more love around you, and that love around you, so like the perimeter of your existence, your bubble of reality is love, and your perimeter borders up against someone else's perimeter. And so you're affecting them, and you're affecting them, and you're affecting them. Your perimeter of love is creating more love on the perimeter of other people's realities, and so on, and so on, and so on. So never underestimate your power to change the world by doing good. And here's the thing, like the squirrel planting the acorn that grows into the mighty oak, you may never see the fruition of those deeds, but as you continue to do them, the universe will continue to funnel that abundance and love and goodness into your life. And like, what's that saying about, there was a saying, I think it was Chinese or Japanese, about those who plant trees knowing that they will never be able to sit in the shade of them. That's what I'm talking about. Planting seeds, planting trees for the future generations, like the rainbow prophecies and such, talking about the 7 generations. Everything you do should benefit the 7 generations ahead of you. You should do everything for the best and highest good of those who will be 7 generations. It would be 7 generations in the future. So we don't own the world. We borrow the world from our grandchildren. Anyway, so that is squirrel. So play. Don't be afraid to play. Don't be afraid to have a good time. Don't be afraid to get your hopes up, to expect good things. Okay? You deserve good things. You deserve happiness and joy. And once you start to look for them, you will start to find them. And as you look for them, find them, and give them back to the universe, you're opening a channel for even more to flow through you. Okay? So that is squirrel. Number 2. If 2 is your number tonight, your card is skunk. Don't laugh. I love skunk medicine. I work with skunk medicine quite a bit, actually. I have been in my fair share of codependent relationships, and that's like, if skunk medicine is in reverse, if skunk medicine is out of balance, it tends to be that kind of codependent, trying on one hand to regain your power from someone else, at the same time trying to give your power away, blaming them, You know, it's the blame game. It's like indiscriminately spraying everyone. It's hot. Thank you. I just got my dinner. So when skunk is out of balance, it's this indiscriminately spraying your energy everywhere. You're just like, psh, you know, screw you, it's your fault I'm like this, and not owning who you are and what's going on. Skunk medicine is about owning my guides just says, like, it's owning your stink. If you think about skunk, the smell, the scent, and think of it metaphorically as your energy, it's what you give off. There's going to be people who hate that vibration, that frequency that you put off. And that's fine, because what in the book that comes with the medicine cards, the word that goes with skunk is reputation. And when skunk is coming down the forest path, his reputation precedes him. Everybody knows who's coming, and everybody knows how to treat him. And if you think about that as energy, your energy, like when you, how do I put it? You know, we all know somebody. Think about somebody that walks in and just lights up the room with their presence. That is someone who owns their energy, right? They're not looking to other people to blame. They're not looking for other people to rescue them. They're self-contained. And they walk into the room and you feel yourself get lighter, right? That is skunk medicine. It's that it fits hand in hand with squirrel, you know, as far as walking in beauty. When you're coming from that place of love and you're exuding that frequency of love into the world, people feel it. People notice it. I once went and saw, I'm going to get his name wrong. It's this guru, Ishi, I believe, is, and he was in Bellevue nearby, and I went to see him, and it was really cool. And it's like, he walked into the room, and it was just like you could feel the frequency of the entire room rise. And then there was like an intermission kind of thing, a break in the middle of it. So we were milling around, talking to people, and I looked up. I was like kind of at the end of the middle aisle leading up to where he was sitting on the stage. And I looked up at the stage, and there he was, and he was coming down, walking straight at me. And so I like looked into his eyes, and I was like, oh my God. It was like, this man is real. This is authentic. He is not putting anybody on. It's not a pretense. He's not, you know, some, what's the word I'm looking for? Charlatan, that's the word. I wanted to say Charlemagne, and that's not right. But it's like just looking in his eyes and feeling this energy that he exuded, that just rolls off of him. It was like, oh my God, this guy is with it. You know, we all have people that we know like that as soon as they walk in, no matter how you were feeling before, you're raising, you feel your frequency rise. You feel whatever sadness or whatever just drain away from you. That is skunk medicine. It's that energy, that frequency that you put out. And like I said, I mean, not a lot of people like the smell of skunk, right? But those are the people that are meant to be repelled by skunk, right? But other skunks, his tribe, they are attracted to his, you know, scent. And so it's kind of like being true to yourself, owning your own energy, owning who you are, wholly and completely, realizing that being as authentic and transparent as you can, that frequency, that vibration you give off is going to repel some people, but those are the people that don't suit your life. Those are the people who you don't need in your life. And that same vibration is going to attract to you your tribe. And so it's kind of ironic in a way, because we're taught to like, oh, we have to please everybody. And so we like bend over backwards trying to make sure everyone else is happy and that everyone else likes us. But we're not putting off a genuine impression, a genuine frequency of who we are in our center. And so the person that they like or that they're attracted to is not who you are. And so it goes around and around and around. That's where you get codependency, you get these power trips, narcissists, all of that kind of stuff. And so the best way, and I'm saying this from experience, having been in a very, very difficult narcissistic relationship at one time, that I didn't know if I was going to get out of it alive. I seriously doubted at times that I would survive it. And the only way I did cut ties, I had to cut them completely and own my own energy, own my own path. And it was really about coming to center and connecting to Creator, to Great Spirit, to Goddess. That was the only source of energy that I needed, and I needed to reopen that, because in this power struggle of dating a narcissist, my energy was just like flat. I was starting to go into anxiety attacks. I was nervous and anxious all the time, because she was just soaking, like just pulling that energy away from me. And I was giving it, trying to take care of her, trying to make her feel better. And so it's like this really toxic, unhealthy thing. And when you're in a place like that, really the only way to overcome that is to realize your own sovereignty, your own divinity, your own connection to Creator. That's your source of energy. That's your source of abundance. And that does not come from anyone outside of you. You might get a paycheck from others. You might, get help from others outside of you. But that is part of the acorns dropping from the trees that you find, that of the original source of that abundance is opening yourself to source and maintaining your own. A big part of Skunk is about maintaining your boundaries and knowing where you stop and the other person starts. So you're not, and it's not selfish to take care of yourself. It's not selfish to see to your own needs first. Like the old cliche with the planes and, secure your own face mask first before giving it to someone else if the oxygen mask drop. You have to be coming from a place of sovereignty, of authenticity, in order to really make a difference and help other people. Otherwise, you're coming at them half-assed. That's what my guys just said. Without your pitcher being full, and you're trying to fill someone else's cup. And that doesn't help anybody. It might seem to help them temporarily, but it really doesn't, because you're giving them something you don't have. And if you're giving them energy that you don't have, You're putting more stuff on them that eventually they are going to have to unbury themselves from. I don't know if that makes sense. But anyway, own your own energy. Own the fact that you deserve to be here. Own the fact that you deserve to be happy. You deserve to be supported. You deserve to be loved. That is basic rights. You have a right to that. That is who you are. And so, and knowing that you are sovereign, that you are answerable to no one other than God, Goddess, Creator, Great Spirit. That is the only being that you, I don't even want to say, you don't, and divinity doesn't judge you. So you don't have to justify yourself. If you are here right now, you are meant to be here right now. You don't have to earn your place on the planet. You don't have to do anything to validate that you deserve to be here. If you are here, you are meant to be here. And how do I put it? Kind of, it's similar to porcupine and medicine, where in a sense is its own protection. It's like skunk is allowed to be soft and fluffy and furry and cute because he knows how to take care of himself. It's that protection that is the reputation. It's like you can't have softness without some sort of boundaries, you know. I'm trying to keep from going way off into tangents, but like there's a saying, something like, compassion without boundaries is self-destruction. In order to, you are the most important person in your life. You are the number one priority in your life. And because we are all connected, because we're connected to all things, by taking care of yourself, you are automatically taking care of everybody else. If you feel like, oh, I should do that for them out of guilt or obligation, but you don't feel it, it's because you don't have the energy to do that, because you're closing off that abundance I was talking about with squirrel. If you're open to that abundance and you, like someone asks you for something and you don't feel it in here, then it's not your place to do that. No is a complete sentence, and it is not necessary to justify or excuse yourself. If you don't feel it in your heart, if you were to step forward and do that, whatever it is, number one, it's not helping them because it's depleting you. And this is a non-zero sum, so you can't take something from one side of the equation and add it to the other side to equal things out. It's like you deplete yourself, you deplete the other person. Number two, if you don't feel that heart space of, yes, I need to do this, I want to do this, then there is somebody else better suited to step into that role. Listen to your heart. Your heart is your authority. And I'm not saying about, oh, screw everybody, I don't need to help anyone. Listen to your heart. Your heart knows what is right for you to do and what is not right. And if someone asks you for help, no is a complete answer, or you can divert their energy. Oh, here, maybe this other person can help you, or, you know, redirect them to a place where they can get help. But don't feel like, one of the things my guides are constantly on me about is letting go of obligations. I was raised Catholic. and in Minnesota. So there's this kind of nicety and this feeling of obligation of having to do this, having to do that, and there's certain things coming from on high that we need to do, we're obligated to do, and it just kind of seeps into every aspect of your life, right? That obligation and feeling like everyone else is more important than you. There is nobody on this planet more important than you. There is nobody on this planet who has more power than you. There is no one on this planet who is less important than you and that has less power than you. But you are a point of focus of the universe. You are divinity coming into a human body for the experience of being human. And you have no obligation to anyone else. You know, obligation insinuates that you have to sacrifice of your goodness, of what's good for you in order to help others. It's that martyr complex, and that is not true. If it's good for you, it's good for everyone else. Okay? And I think I will leave it at that. Because I've been going on. I'm stinking up the place. But, so skunk number 2. Own your own energy. Unapologetically. Like a friend of mine told me, like years and years and years ago, and it still sticks with me to this day. And that is, own your space. You are here. Don't apologize for your existence. Don't feel like you're in the way or feel like you have to diminish yourself, you know, phase into the background so that people can get on to the important stuff. You are important. You are meant to be here. Own that space unapologetically. There is no one on this planet that is more important than you, that is more powerful than you, and we are all here together to help support each other. There's no obligation of like, oh, I have to do that. You know, that's, what's the word I'm looking for? That's like moral standards or rules put on us from outside. Then, you know, like I saw a meme somewhere that said, someone who's religious will do what they're told, whether it's right or wrong, but someone who's spiritual will do what's right no matter what someone is telling them to do. It's like your heart is your authority. Your heart is your compass. If it feels right in your heart, then do it. To say I'm obligated to do that for this person is to say that I'm less than that person. I owe them. My existence here is because of them or whatever. This is owning your power, stepping into your power as an equal sovereign being with everyone else in this world. And it's really, and that is the heart of healing what's going on with the planet. Self-love. People who love themselves, who come from the heart, don't look for others to validate them. They don't persecute others to feel more powerful or to get what they need. Because they love themselves, they realize that source of abundance comes from Creator, and so they see that equality, that divinity in everybody. And so it's really, I mean, seriously, if any challenge or problem you can think of in the world, that is the heart of it, self-love. If we were all taught self-love, rather than saying that, oh, we are peons, we're sinners from birth, we're meant to suffer because of something our ancestors did way back in prehistoric times, blah, blah, blah. that has nothing to do with you. You are here now, and you are beautiful. You are divine. Don't be afraid to raise a stink. You deserve everything you desire. And I guess I'm really stuck on skunk tonight. That's funny. I just thought of another kind of anecdote. Like one time we went down, me and my fiance, we go down to the river nearby, and I do pipe ceremony down there and stuff. And we went down one time, and it's just this little beach on the river, and there were a bunch of other people there. And so we kind of sat down and like, should we stay? There's a lot of people here, a lot of noise. And I was like, no, let's just sit here, close our eyes, and raise our vibration. So we did. 5 minutes later, the beach was empty. We actually rose our vibration, and it was too uncomfortable for other people that they left. They were like, oh, I think it's time to go home. Well, yeah, let's wrap this up. Yeah, And so by owning our own, we weren't like shooing them out or sending energy at them to make them uncomfortable. We were focusing on ourselves, on our divine connection, and raising that frequency. And then the results were that the beach cleared out because the other people couldn't handle that higher vibration, and they left. That's like skunk raising that stink, and people are not comfortable about, so they're going to leave. It's so it so fits that picture. So be yourself authentically, powerfully, unapologetically. When you do that, like squirrel over here, the first card, you're going to find acorns and gifts everywhere. Okay? All right. Number 3. If 3 was your card, we got turtle. Turtle is, where do I start? Turtle, in a way, is kind of an embodiment of Mother Earth. The native peoples, the tribes, consider North America as Turtle Island. And there's a story, oh crud, I'm trying to remember the story now. I better plug in my phone. Give me a moment here. Da, 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 da. There we go. I don't want to run out of juice while I'm talking to you, so there we go. Okay, again, I don't, like, the same way I don't remember quotes exactly, so I just kind of paraphrase them. There is a creation story, and I believe it was Sky Woman, who lived in the sky with the Sky Nation, and one day, like, she fell through a hole in the sky and fell toward Earth, but at that time, there was no Earth. It was all water. And so, I don't remember if it was the swans or the geese caught her, flew up and caught her, and carried her down onto the back of a turtle to save her. And so they're on the turtle, and they're like, well, you need some solid ground to stand on. So a number of different animals were like, I'll go get some dirt from the bottom of the ocean. And so a number of them tried, and none of them got there until Muskrat. Muskrat stepped up and said, I will do it. And so Muskrat swam down deeper than any of the other animals were able to. And he was gone for a really, really long time, and everyone's starting to worry. All of a sudden, they see him bob up the surface of the water. And unfortunately, he had drowned on his way back up, but in his paws, he held a mound of dirt. And so Sky Woman was able to take that dirt, spread it across the shell of this great turtle, and it became North America. So turtle is Mother Earth, but it's also about, it's like, so there's intimately interwoven with turtle is the idea of home, like that, like her back was home, and she is home wherever she goes because she carries her home with her. She is always protected, and because of that, she is a creature of multiple worlds. She can live on the land or she can live in the water. No matter where she goes, she's home. So this fits with the rest of the cards in that manner of owning your space. When you own your space, when you're authentic, when you step into your power, it doesn't matter what realm you find yourself in. It doesn't matter where you are. You are always home. You are always centered. You know, my last week I had a class I taught, and we were talking about feeling tones. And I don't have time to go into the whole complex thing, but if you've ever read any of the Seth books, the author Jane Roberts was the channel for Seth, and she was like one of the original channelers from the 70s, and that he was like, Seth was my go-to. Like, he was the one who first like gave me the jump on this whole new world and new thought and all that kind of stuff. And he talks about feeling tones, and your feeling tone is that frequency, that base, essential, unique frequency that is yours and yours alone. In all of the universe, you have a specific frequency, a feeling tone that is who you are. That's home. And when you can get in touch with that feeling tone, no matter where you are, when you can feel that tone within you, and it's more experiential than, it's not, I mean, it's hard to put into words. It's just something you have to experience, and it's that tone of who you are. Like if you ever did like one of those what is it? Those tanks, sensory deprivation tanks, so that you had no incoming stimulation. And you were there, and all that was there is you, your unique, pure frequency. That is your feeling tone. And as long as you can come into contact with that, you're home. That is home. No matter where you are, no matter what's going on around you, you can always be home. And when you're home, you're protected. Again, that whole idea of innocence is its own protection. When you are pure and innocent and authentic, the universe protects you. That frequency protects you. Like skunk putting out that vibration kind of parts the seas for you. It takes other situations, other people, beings, whatever, out of your way so that you don't even encounter them anymore. So it's like you are always home. And whether you're on dry land feeling grounded, or you're swimming through the emotional waters of the world, you have the tools to navigate all of those places. You're not just at the whim of the currents or the waves. It's like you know how to navigate, and you can go deeper, so you don't have to just stay at the surface all the time. You can swim deeper like turtle and walk along the bottom of the ocean, the bottom of the water, where it's calmer and peaceful. So if that's your card, what I would recommend is, if you don't already, is to, set aside 5-10 minutes of your day to start and meditate. Experience silence. Not, there are a lot of good guided meditations out there, but that's not what I'm talking about. That's more of that outside stimulation coming in, and it's got a purpose, and it guides you, but it's really almost necessary. Some people will say it's necessary to meditate, to quiet yourself, so that you can get in touch with that frequency, that God frequency within you, that frequency that is yours, that connects you straight to Creator. And when you have that, number one, you can never lose it. You may not be able to feel it as strongly at times, depending on outside stimulation and emotions and stress or whatever, but it's always there. It's who you are. So it's always there. No matter how bad things look, you are always home. Okay? So if that is your card, know that you are always home. You have the tools to navigate whatever realm you find yourself in. And you don't have to call just one realm home. Now I've got, I don't know if this is going to date me a little bit, but now I've got the theme song from BJ and the Bear, which was an 80s sitcom adventure, whatever, show on TV. But you don't have to call just one place home, because you are your home. And when you are your home, you put out that frequency that is you, that draws to you the pertinent people, places, and things, so that you find all those acorns of goodness and abundance that you can then share back to the world and to the universe, which allows you to experience more. So that is how all three of these fit together. That's wonderful, beautiful. Another thing that my guides just tapped me on the head with, if turtle, if number 3 was your card and you got turtle, this is weird because this has never ever come up before, but turtle is a master of divination. So if that is your card, you might want to more, if you don't already, look into divination of some sort. Cards, runes, palms, whatever draws you. Turtle, like the original I Ching. I'm saying this from memory, so forgive me. I don't know if this is absolutely correct and true, but I believe I heard someplace that the I Ching is based on the 13. The turtle has 13 sections on her shell. And one of the more primitive forms of divination was to take a turtle shell and put it in a fire and see where it cracks, and that was the divination that told them what they needed to know. So turtle is deeply connected to the other senses, to Well, of course she is, because like I said, it's like that feeling tone that connects you to Creator. When you're connected to Creator, you know things. Things just occur to you. You start to be able to read things in the world around you. So pay attention. Watch for signs. Watch for the synchronicities. When you start to see those synchronicities, you know that everything is flowing, that you are in the right place at the right time, and you are going with the flow, okay? So, I think that is it. Just remember to play. We're here to play. We're here to explore. It's meant to be an adventure. And don't be afraid to raise a stink, because you deserve to be here, because you are God incarnate. You are divinity incarnate, and there is nothing that can take that away from you. Who you are is eternal, and that has been here. You have been here since the very beginning, since before the beginning, and you will continue to be here beyond time. Energy cannot be created or destroyed. You were here at the beginning. You were part of the Big Bang. We are electromagnetic star stuff. And so you were there at the Big Bang. Everything that makes you up was at the Big Bang. And so I actually do an exercise in one of my classes where I have people do a shamanic journey back to a time when their consciousness was part of a star. And so you could do that through meditation, or if you know how to do shamanic journey back to a time when you were a star and see what that feels like. Experience that radiance and the effortlessness of just being and giving without receiving, having so much energy that you can't help but radiate that love. And I'm just getting chills. It's one of the most powerful journeys I've ever done. So anyway, that is our readings for the evening. I thank you so much for joining me. If you're new here, welcome. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope to see you here again next week, and invite your friends. Feel free to share this video far and wide. Share the love, and know that I am available for personal readings. That's one of the main things I do with these cards. And then you get 5 or more cards to yourself, all focused on you, the messages pertaining exactly to what you need. And that is one of my biggest joys, is to help. I'm here to support you, especially through these weird times we're going through right now. I'm here as a source of support and guidance. That's what I do. That's who I am. And so feel free to check out my website at perchingwolfstudios.net to see. You can go on there to sign up for a reading with me, or to see what other shamanic services I offer. There's other things I do that might help, different healing, soul retrievals, etc. So feel free to check that out. And if you enjoyed this too, like Wednesday nights, I also do another live video where at 7 o'clock on Wednesdays, I do a sacred pipe ceremony. And the purpose is to basically create a safe and sacred space for people to come together to join their energies and offer their prayers and intentions to Creator for the betterment of all beings. So in the middle of the week, I wanted to give everyone an opportunity to breathe, to let go of the world, to take the world off their shoulders and just connect. So join me Wednesday night if that appeals to you. Otherwise, I hope to see you here again next Monday at 7:30. Is there anything else I'm forgetting to tell you about? I think that's it. So I really hope you enjoyed this. I really hope tell your friends, you share it. I hope this had meaning to you. I hope you will join me again because I really love doing this. But until I see you again, know that I love you, that I see you, and that I honor you. So have a wonderful, wonderful week. Tune into whatever animal volunteered tonight to help you through the week. That's what they're there for. This isn't just oh yeah, that's kind of a cool story. These animal guides are present with you to help you. You can ask them for help, for guidance, for strength, for courage, whatever it is. So they're here to help you, and I am here to help you. Let me know if there's anything I can do to make your path a little smoother, a little more guidance, whatever. So take care of yourselves, love yourselves, and I will see you soon. So until next time, go shining. Bye.